This channel does not promote any violence, harmful or illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
What should I appear for the state?
Respondent number 4.
Oh,
All right. Yes.
This is in regard to appointment of primary teachers as booth level officers by the Election Commission. All the petitioners before lawsuits are primary teachers. All. There are, I tell you, lawsuits.
Election Commission of India, is anybody there?
I represent.
Election Commission of India. All right.
Kindly see the appointment letter at page 41. One of the appointment, there are little variation is there in letter of appointment. Your lawsuits will find this has been appointment letter has been issued in terms of section 13B subsection 2 and section 13CC. I will take your lawsuit section 13CC. Before that, I just place before your lawsuits. After the box column, he or she is appointed as the booth level officer against the polling station specified in column 1 of the above table, and following terms and conditions are imposed upon him. After rationalization of polling station, the name and number of the polling station will change. Keep the polling area almost same. I request your lordships kindly see the nature of duty one after another. I will not read out your lordships. Kindly just go through your lordships the number of duties assigned to me. Up to at least your lordships, handling of multiple entries, door-to-door visit, electoral roll maintenance, special campaigning days, present at the polling station. According to my assessment, it's a full-fledged day-to-day work. It's not for holidays or all that. Now, your lordships, kindly then your lordships, if I'm a primary teacher, kindly see the last column. Please note that section 13C, that section 13CC of the representative, your service shall be deemed to be on deputation to the Election Commission India, and you will be held responsible and accountable for any negligence or breach of official duty. Any such action shall be firmly dealt with under the provision of section 13(2). I request your lordships kindly go to the section 13C.
CC.
13CC. Exactly in the same term. As we have learned from the law college, deeming provision is stronger than the normal provision. So I am under the as soon as this appointment letter has been issued, I am under the Election Commission. I am on deputation. In common parlance, in service jurisprudence, deputation means from one cadre to another cadre, from one department to another department. Does he suggest, therefore, that I am not to discharge school duty? I am putting a question to myself. Considering the nature of duty and the provision of the act. The act kindly take note of a specific period. Here the appointment letter do not specify any period. Your lordships, there is a language, your lordships, specific period. If I take you good. 13CC. The officers referred to in this part and or any others employed in connection with the preparation, revision and correction of electoral rolls and the conduct of all elections shall be deemed to be on deputation to the Election Commission for the period during which they are so employed. This is lacking in the in appointment letter. They have not dealt with. They have only said it. The work means revision of electoral roll. Your lordships kindly look at it. This is for revision of electoral roll. The very first special summary revision. Very first nature of work. So I have been employed by the Election Commission for revisional of electoral roll.
Where do you get that revision?
Your lordships, presence at polling station.
Presence at polling station.
Present at the polling station during the entire period of the special summary revision. And section 13CC says that, my lord. For the revision of electoral roll. So, my first submissions, this is not clear. Where am I to work? I have no objection to that. But I cannot discharge dual duties like this.
What is your school timing?
Well, school time 10 to 4.
10 to 4.
10 to 4.
All right.
This is one of my submissions.
Hmm.
Well, then your losses kindly consider this. This came up before the Honorable Supreme Court. I take your losses one. Then I will show how the Election Commission sought to amended it. Well, this is reported in 2008 volume 2 SCC page 390. Paragraph 29. Only one paragraph I will rely upon before losses. Kindly similar to section 29. With an advent of technology, requisitioning of a large number of people for carrying out the election may not be necessary. We may notice that the Election Commission has different roles to play. Preparation of electoral rolls, revision of electoral rolls when objections are filed, hearing of the parties and determining the objections, enumeration of the voter list to hold election as and when due. The Election Commission and its officers, in our opinion, can formulate an effective scheme to see that the services of a large number of teachers are not required. This is the objective lawsuits. The state admittedly is not in a position to perform its sovereign function of imparting education. Such functions necessarily are required to be performed by private actors. Those students who are in a position to get admission in public schools, presumably who also be in a position to appoint tutors, whereas those students who are admitted to the government schools ordinarily would be from middle or lower middle class or poor families. The state of primary education in India is in deplorable condition. There admittedly is heavy dropout from the schools, particularly from amongst the girls' schools. The question if right to exercise franchisee, whereupon the emphasis is laid by Mr. Venugopal, is an important one. The right to education is also no less important, being a fundamental right. But after this jolt from the Supreme Court, the Commission has from time to time issues order, not like a comprehensive scheme. I will take your losses to the last order of the Election Commission. Your losses kindly take up the last one at page 71. The others are there, Malad. I think, Malad, this is because the last one in the Election Commission will respect their own regulations like this. 71 year losses. It start 4th October 2022. Now your losses kindly take note of this in the second page. Booth level officers can be appointed from the following suggested list of categories: government or semi-government employees. They have put the teachers first.
Which portion are you reading, please?
Page 71. The last office order or their orders,
All right.
comprehensive instructions.
Yes.
This is of 4th October 2022. The bottom at the page, appointment of booth level officers. Booth level officers are to be appointed by the electorate registrar officer under section 13B2 of the Representation of the People Act 1950. After obtaining approval of the district election officer, they shall be deemed to be on deputation on the Election Commission of India under section 13cc of the RP Act 1950. Then you'll see next page. Booth level officer can be appointed from the following suggested list of categories: government or semi-government. Teachers have been put at the top. I don't know whether it is in consonance with the Supreme Court views or not. Then your losses kindly see the next page. Page 73, continuation of the same. Following points should also be ensured before deployment of BLOs. Point number D. Teachers shall be drafted minimally. I have an averment in the writ petition that in a particular block, 90% of the teachers are BLR or primary teachers. 90%. I can give you lots of data. I have. Therefore, their own action, we have to read together. Even if you have kept the teachers at the top, that doesn't mean the teachers has to be recruited first. I should, according to the judgment of the Supreme Court, teachers to be the last.
Maybe possibly because of their status. See, the Anganwadi workers comes there, then
that's my
Patwari,
lord,
Panchayat Secretary. That is the reason.
maybe your lordship, but therefore,
Ah.
your lordship, this has to be with clause D.
Yes, clause D.
Teachers should be drafted minimally as both level officers. However, where necessary, they should be drafted for both level of during holidays and during non-teaching hours and teaching non-teaching days. Is it possible to huge number of work for a person? I know, Mala, this is an exigency. They have the power. But the power doesn't mean but that has to be exercised arbitrarily.
All right.
Then your losses will find my paragraph 7, page 19. These are the amendments of the writ petition.
And are they the primary teachers in government schools?
Aided school, Malad, all primary school are aided.
Aided schools.
Local government. Council is a local government. Page 7, paragraph 7, page 19.
Does the schools have students over there?
Students are there, as usual.
Hardly primary
Malad,
schools.
it affects pupil-teacher ratio also. I will show one judgment of our High Court. If it affects the pupil-teacher ratio, we cannot.
Yes.
Malad, paragraph 7.
Hmm.
Your petitioners found that in some constitution, more than 90% of appointees are the teachers. Malad, I am giving you, Lordship, Malad, page 56 of these annexures, that is Nabadip constituency. 50, it starts from 51, 90% are teachers.
Hmm.
And another one, Malad, 51 is Malad Bamunghat Bhangur constituency. 90% are teachers. And Malad, it affects the pupil-teacher ratio also. Malad, this point that 90% teachers appointed, rather the point in regard to pupil-teacher ratio, Malad, came up before this honorable court once. I give you lordships this is unreported copy. একটু জশাবকে দিন আমি তোকে সব দিয়ে দিচ্ছি এটাই দিয়ে দেবো
Yes.
This is only kindly see the present writ petition has been preferred challenging inter alia and order dated passed by the respondent number 5. This says Malad that all are respondent number 5 is a teacher, section 13 CC, as I placed before lordship qualifying date. Lord, lordship take a cursory glance, straightway come to page internal page 5 of the judgment.
Yes.
Undisputably, there are only 2 primary teachers, including the petitioners and the said school, as mandatorily required under the provisions of the RT Act. The guidelines which have been framed by the concerned ministry do not suffer from any jurisdictional error, inasmuch as the same have been framed on the basis of the authority conferred under Section 35 of the Act. For implementation of provisions of the Act, duties relating to elections to the local authority of the state legislature or parliament in Section 27 of the RT Act have been explained by the guidelines, stating that the said duties relate to conduct of election and the consequent deployment of teachers on the days of poll and counting, the time spent on training imparted to them, and collection of election materials for such deployment, and that all other duties relation to electoral revisions will be undertaken on holidays and during non-teaching hours and non-teaching days. As such, argument of Mr. Chaudhuri that the guidelines do not pertain to implementation of the is not acceptable by this court. The argument of Mr. Chaudhary that the conferment of the benefits to the petitioner would open to floodgates is also not acceptable by this court. Only because there is a possibility of floodgate litigation, the valuable right of a citizen cannot be permitted to be taken away. It is well known that a decision is an authority what it decides and not what can logically be deduced therefrom. Even a slight distinction in fact or an additional fact may make a lot of difference in decision-making process. The questions answered by this on Supreme Court in the Gujarat Assembly elections reported in, as now I have shown to your lordships, have no application in the present case. It is true that the judgment in the case of St. Mary's was delivered prior to the comings of the RTE Act, but the issue urged in the same is identical to the list involved in the present matter, and answering the issue as to whether the service of the teachers of the government school during school times can be utilized for election purposes. It is categorically observed in paragraph 33. We would, however, notice that the election commissions before us categorically stated that as far as possible, teachers would be put on electoral revision works on holidays, non-teaching days, and non-teaching hours, whereas non-teaching staff would be on duty anytime. We therefore direct that all teaching staff should be
Yes,
put.
I have read it.
So therefore, your losses kindly also see the Right to Education Act once. Well, section 27.
Let me hear the election commission,
Okay.
what stand they have to take.
Please come to page 41. Booth level officers, they are appointed for collecting actual field information. Please come to page 41.
41.
In pursuance of the provision of subsection 2 of section 13B of the Representation of People Act 1950, read with the Election Commission's letter of 2006 and 2016, the electoral registration officer for so and so assembly hereby designates, in consultation with district election officer, the officer of the state government, local body or educational institution specified in column 2 of the table below as the booth level officer for the part of the electoral roll under so and so constituency in the state of West Bengal as specified in column 1 of the said table against such officer, state government, local body or educational institutions, then not the duties are prescribed. So it's not a unilateral decision that the commission has taken. It is done in consultation with including officers, including the school. Not the best authority to decide as to whether a student, and not, this is probably a misapplied misapprehension in this case, because if your lordship kindly comes to page 73 of the writ application, this is not being done after declaration of election this time. And this is why not all the judgments not which your lordships have been pleased to consider thus far is probably once the election notification is made declaring a date of election, then the process continues or commences. Now this is done at least 6 months prior to the date of announcement of the election process this time. Please have a look at page 73. Now 48,000 have already been drafted, out of which 50 are today or before your lordships only. Page 73, clause C, clause D. Teachers shall be drafted minimally as booth level officers. However, where necessary, they should be drafted for booth level officer work during holidays and during non-teaching hours and non-teaching days so as to avoid any loss of academic work. It must be ensured that no teacher of a single teacher school is deployed for this purpose. Now please come to clause J on that page, the last clause. The activities for BLOs should be planned in such a way it does not affect the working of their parent department. So they have probably been, what probably affects them is they might be called on holidays or non.
It's an apprehension
It's an apprehension.
that they may be called.
May be called.
This is in general an order, page 41. As of now, duties under the Representation of People's Act have not been allotted to
Not
any
been allotted
of
as of
the
date.
officers.
And but if they will be allotted, they will be done not following for the teachers,
Following
not
the
following this
guidelines.
guideline. And what this is done in consultation with the schools
And in line with the Supreme Court
and with
order,
the Supreme Court judgment.
which also says
And what this is the first time that this drafting is done much
Prior
before
to
the date of
date of-
announcement of the election.
Apprehension.
So all competing circumstances had been weighed and taken into consideration.
and this work has not started as on the booth level officers work has
They will be deployed. They will be deployed for training and then they will be put to work.
and training also on
Oh no,
the
holidays for them. not-
holidays
yes,
and
yes.
non-working hours.
Not affecting anybody's service conditions.
So you have to work double time, double shift.
But probably work for the first time.
No, my lord, this is physically possible, my lord.
What do you say? It's not possible. The act requires your service. The nation requires your service. What can be done?
I tell you lordships. I'll tell you lordships. Workers of the financial institutions and works of the teachers are put in a different footing when the election commissions needs us. There is a blanket prevention on regard to recruitment of finance or employees of the financial institution, as good as teachers. Now, my lord, here I told you, lordships, I will be on deputation. Deputation means for what purpose? Only for a specific work or for the entirely I'm under deputation?
No, it's not entirely.
Entirely. Now, my lord, if it is not on entirely, then your lordship, this is for only for these specific purposes. I'm deputation. Now, my lord, deputation, my lord, if I'm on the non-working day, my lord, school non-working days,
Yes.
my lord, only Sundays.
Hmm.
Is it possible to do that?
Why not?
My lord, how?
They will allot work in that manner because you have not been allotted work. This is the list of work or the nature of works that will be required. You have not been allotted any work now.
My lord, your lordships kindly consider that all of the works to be done by me.
All is not required to be done by you.
My lord,
Yes.
that's the work, your lordship. It doesn't say that.
Yes, it is the work. A limited work will be given to you. You are apprehensive of doing work.
No, my lord,
You
apprehensive.
do have Saturdays as working days in the court now.
Probably my learned friend every Saturday comes, I believe.
Did you work?
it does
Did you
No, nobody comes up, my lord, due to a lordship.
এসেছি শনিবার দিন এসেছি
Justice Mohitos Mojumdar first hold in the court in the primary school matters in Saturday
listen?
consecutively.
Yes.
So this is the one or two examples, not
Yes.
that regular.
Hmm.
Now, my lord, all that I am saying, my lord, this is the nature of duties. Why they do appoint the teachers only? My learned friends, 48,000 teachers.
By in consultation.
There will be other workers
There are
also.
no others.
They will take.
There are no others.
You are not required to be so apprehensive. They will allot
No,
jobs
but
to
the-
you during holidays and during non-teaching hours. No,
Well,
nothing.
there is
Guidelines.
kindly record that your losses during holiday.
Yes,
Record that.
yes.
Guidelines.
following the guidelines not this
Following the guidelines.
Following
The,
guidelines is vague.
the petitioners are primary school teachers. Stuff. They claim to be aggrieved by the order of the electoral registration officer of 180-Bagnan Assembly Constituency dated 24th June 2025.
is one of them. That is one of the letters. But similar letters
Oh.
for some of
Or all letter for others. Acha, acha. তাহলে electoral registration officer. Are the dates same?
no varying dates.
Oh, varying dates. আচ্ছা তাহলে ওই ডেটটাও দেবেন না। Of various dates. Dates of various dates passed by the electoral registration officer requiring their services under the provisions of section 2 of section 13 caps B of the Representation of the People Act, 1950. Top next. The petitioners are apprehensive that না ওটাকে কাটুন তার আগে লিখুন the order specifies that the officer will be appointed as booth level officer BLO caps against polling stations under the terms and conditions as imposed upon them after rationalization of polling stations. Acha, upon them for full stop. After rationalization of polling stations, the name and the number of the polling station. এটা দরকার নেই, after rationalization কেটে দিন। The officers are required to report progress and issues to the electoral registration officers for timely resolution, and their services are to be deemed to be on deputation to the Election Commission of India, and the officer will be held responsible and accountable for any negligence or breach of official duty. Stop. The services required from the officers are assisting eligible citizens, comma, their presence at the polling station on the designated special campaign days and during the entire period of the special summary revision, except on holidays under the Negotiable Instruments Act. Stop. Comma. Special campaign days, electoral roll maintenance, comma, door-to-door visits, comma, polling station verification, comma, handling multiple entries, comma, consultation with political parties, and address standardization. Stop. Paragraph. The petitioners apprehend that as they are required to teach students in the primary school, which is a whole-time job from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., comma, they will hardly be left with any time to perform duties as per the order of the electoral registration officer. Stop. Paragraph. It has been submitted that it will not be proper for the officers to absent themselves from school duties only for the purpose of acting under the direction of the electoral registration officer. Stop. The studies of the primary school children will be hampered if the teachers are allotted any other duty apart from teaching. Stop. The student-teacher ratio under the Right to Education Act will also be infringed if the teachers are deputed for other duties. Stop. The paragraph, the petitioners relies on the judgment delivered by the Honorable Supreme Court in the matter of Election Commission of India versus St. Mary's School and others, reported in 2008 to SCC 390, and the unreported decision passed by a coordinate bench of this court on 28 September 2018 in WP number 18225W of 2018, within bracket, Shutantra Haldar versus the state of West Bengal and others. Stop. Prayer has been made. Oh, character line. It has been submitted that the impugned order does not specify the period of deputation. Stop. Until and unless a specific period is mentioned, comma, it will be deemed that the teachers would be under deputation for their entire period, service period. Stop. Next. Prayer has been made to relieve the petitioners from the duties as may be assigned by the electoral registration officer. Paragraph. Learned Counsel representing the Election Commission of India refers to the impugned order and submits that the said order has been passed in consultation with the concerned officer. Stop. The same is not an unilateral order. Stop. Next.
Not the concerned officer, not the authority. If your lordship will
Acha, officer is jagah, the school authority. Acha. It has been submitted that
education institution.
guidelines have been published by the Election Commission of India, specifically mentioning that the teachers shall be drafted minimally as booth level officers. Stop. where necessary, teachers should be drafted work during holidays and during non-teaching hours and non-teaching days so as to avoid any loss of academic work. Stop. No teacher of a single teacher's school shall be deployed for the purpose. Stop. The activities of the booth level officers should be planned in such a way that it does not affect the work of their parent department. Paragraph. It has been submitted that that work is yet to be assigned to the officers, and the work will certainly be assigned keeping in mind the guidelines laid down by the Election Commission of India. Paragraph. Upon hearing the submission made on
It is represented, but I am adopting the arguments of the mission.
learned advocate representing the state adopts the submission advanced by the Election Commission of India. You are also there? Union of India or same করে দেবেন, state and Union of India, both. ঠিক আছে? আচ্ছা, upon hearing the submission made on behalf of the parties and on perusal of the documents placed before this court, it appears that though order has been passed by the electoral registration officers appointing the petitioners as booth level officers, but specific work the booth level officers are required to perform is yet to be assigned. Stop. As on date, it cannot be ascertained as to the nature of work that will be assigned upon the concerned officer. Stop. The writ petition appears to have been filed apprehending that the teachers may be appointed whole time, keeping in mind the nature of work that they may be required to perform. Stop. Paragraph. As it appears that the individual teachers have not been assigned any duty, accordingly, the instant writ petition is disposed of with the observation that the duties that will be assigned to the officers shall be strictly in terms of the comprehensive instruction regarding booth level officers as published by the Election Commission of India on 4th October 2022. Stop. The Honorable Supreme Court has specifically laid down in St. Mary's School within brackets Supra that the teachers may be required to work only on holidays, non-teaching days and non-teaching hours. The Election Commission of India and any other officer assigning work upon the petitioners shall strictly act in terms of the aforesaid instruction published by the Election Commission of India. Writ petition stands disposed. Affidavit of service is taken on record, and the receipt showing deposit of deficit court fees be also retained with the records.
Only one humble submission. Not suppose not on a case-to-case basis. There may be certain schools where there is no student at all. So
As and
it's
when
possible.
matters come,
As and when this will be coming flooding the court, then
this is the reason I inquired how many students are there in the school.
it has been done in
What is the
consultation.
working order, the working hours, and then only.
Say the head of the institution may be in a position to spare the gentleman for the part of the day.
Maybe
Head of the institution has been called for also.
And
First
he
is
has-
petitioner head of the
Thank you.
institution.
He has accepted this,
Accepted this means, my lord.
the proposal of putting the teachers in deputation.
No, my lord, he has been deputed. Head teacher has been deputed.
I have seen a list of head teachers that is
That they have
annexed
been
also.
deputed. All they have been deputed.
Only on holidays and for the time being.
Yes. Call the